Hi, my name is Lily, and today the topic we're going to be talking about is listening styles. Now, listening is more than just hearing, it's an active process that's shaped by our personal habits, preferences, and even personality. In fact, communication experts have identified four main listening styles that show up in how we interact with others. People-oriented, action-oriented, content-oriented, and time-oriented. Each of these styles reflect a different way we focus our attention, whether on emotions, results, facts, or time. Now, let's summarize each style quickly before we get into real-world examples. People-oriented, they focus on emotions and building connections. Action-oriented provides clarity and results. Content-oriented prefers logic and detailed analysis. Time-oriented wants brief, efficient communication. By knowing your listening style and recognizing others, you can reduce misunderstandings and build stronger relationships in all areas of life, including personal and professional. Now, a real-world example for people-oriented listening is: imagine a therapist in a counseling session. The client is anxious, emotional, and vulnerable. The therapist listens deeply, validates their feelings, and responds with empathy. They're not just absorbing facts, they're focusing on connection. That's people-oriented listening in action. Now, real-world example for action-oriented listening. Picture a firefighter responding to a 911 call. The dispatcher gives quick, direct instructions. The firefighter listens for what needs to happen, what's done, what's next, what's urgent. Now, there's no time for emotion or backstory. This is about getting to the point and acting fast. Content-oriented listening, real-world example. Consider a judge in court. They're evaluating arguments, picking apart testimonies, and analyzing evidence. Every detail matters. The judge filters what they hear through logic, critical thinking, and the pursuit of truth. Now that's content-oriented listening at work. Now, time-oriented listening. This style is about efficiency. Think about it of a CEO with a jam-packed schedule. They want a short, focused update and fast decisions. If someone strays off topic and gets too detailed, they'll redirect the conversation. It's not personal. It's just about making most of the limited time that they have. Now, this is why they all matter. Listening is essential to communication, but it's often overlooked. True listening is active and intentional, and knowing how you and others listen helps reduce conflict and strengthen connections. Whether you're leading a team, helping a friend, or navigating a relationship, listening styles matter at any point in time. Now, to know your style, you must know how people process information. Now, by becoming aware of your style and learning to recognize others, you can respond more effectively and communicate more meaningfully. Whether you're people-oriented, action-focused, detail-driven, or time-conscious, there's no best style. Each has its own strength. The real skill is learning to adapt your listening to the situation and the person in front of you. Now, in a workplace environment, mismatched styles can cause miscommunication, and it could also lead to misinformation being spread. Teams can adapt communication to avoid tensions throughout any single area. In leadership examples, effective leaders shift between styles based on the situation that they are put in. In education, teachers can tailor instruction based on different types of learners. For people-oriented students, they would go to storytelling. For action-oriented learners, they would do structured outlines. Do critical thinking for content-oriented students, and brief instruction for time-oriented learners. And adapting to learning styles creates more inclusive learning environments. In a personal relationship, mismatched styles can cause feelings of being unheard, and understanding differences can reduce conflict and build connection. A personal reflection is realizing one's own listening styles, and that can lead to growth. Now, to show awareness of listening styles which can enhance communication all across areas of life. And a goal that we can all work toward is we will include academic research, real-world case studies, and personal reflection throughout all of this. Now, in a fast-paced, polarized world, effective listening fosters better understanding in relationships. Now, here are some more examples of real-world studies. For people-oriented listener, we have a nurse in a hospital setting. Now, Maria, a registered nurse, works in a busy urban hospital. Her patients often feel scared, overwhelmed, and isolated. She takes a few extra minutes to ask how they're feeling emotionally, uses empathetic language, and listens without interrupting. Patients have reported higher satisfaction and trust in care. Maria's listening style builds rapport, reduces anxiety, and often helps uncover symptoms patients haven't mentioned to doctors yet. Now, the style in action, it focuses on emotions and relationships, strong empathy and attentiveness, and it listens to understanding the person, not just the facts. Action-oriented listeners. Here is an example: a project manager in tech. Jason, a project manager at a software company, leads a stand-up meetings where time is limited. He listens to key facts: what's done, what's blocked, and what needs to happen next. If a team member strays into too much background, he politely directs the conversation. Projects do stay on track, meetings can run efficiently. However, team members sometimes feel Jason misses emotional cues or deeper concerns unless they are clearly stated. The style in action, it prioritizes clarity, goals, and next steps, prefers direct, structured communication, and values efficiency and problem solving. Now, for content-oriented listeners, which is a lawyer in court. Angela, a defense attorney, listens intently during a courtroom testimony. She takes detailed notes and focuses on logical inconsistencies, factual evidence, and strong arguments. Even when emotionally charged cases arise, Angela stays focused on the details. Now, the outcome of that is that her clients benefit from her through her thorough analysis and logical reasoning. Judges and juries often respect her well-constructed cases. However, some clients find her emotionally distant in personal interactions. The style in action seeks evidence, logic, and credibility. And it also states that it enjoys complex, detailed conversations, and it is often skeptical or analytical in listening. Now, time-oriented listeners, here's an example. An executive in a corporate environment. Now, Derek, a senior executive, manages multiple departments and attends back-to-back meetings. He sets strict time limits and expects team members to deliver high-level summaries and clear action points. He becomes frustrated if people go off topic or provide too much background. Now, the outcome of this is that Derek's decisiveness helps streamline operations, but some team members have been feeling rushed or unheard. Learning to set pre-meeting expectations has helped balance his need while others need to be understood. Now, the style in action values brevity and time efficiency, prefers bullet point summaries over long explanations, and often sets time boundaries for conversations. Now, listening styles refer to the habitual ways individuals prefer to receive, interpret, and respond to information while communicating. While listening is a basic human skill, not everyone listens the same way. People-oriented listeners are empathetic and attentive to feelings, and they prioritize relationships over facts. People-oriented listening tends to focus more on building emotional connections. Action-oriented listeners prefer direct, goal-focused communication, and they may become impatient with disorganization. Action-oriented listening tends to emphasize clarity, structure, and results. Content-oriented people enjoy analyzing ideas, evaluating evidence, and engaging with complex topics. These listeners value depth in information. Time-oriented people, on the other hand, prefer brief, concise communication, and they often set time limits for conversations. And they are driven by efficiency. These styles are not mutually exclusive. Most people exhibit a dominant style but can shift depending on the situation. Understanding listening styles helps improve communication by allowing people to adapt to others' preferences, reduce misunderstandings, and foster more meaningful interactions in both personal and professional settings. Now, throughout all of this, I have some questions I want you guys to answer. Now, for which listening style do you naturally gravitate towards and why? How does your listening style affect your personal and professional relationships? And can you think of a time where your listening style caused a misunderstanding? What could have gone differently? Now, throughout all of this, when you think of all of these, you should be able to know that all of these have a different outcome. Not only that, but they are very important because without knowing what listening style there is or what others have, you could say something wrong and it could tick somebody off. Now, everyone does have a dominant listening style that shapes how they process information, and being aware of the different styles can help someone identify somebody else's habit and can respond better to them by giving them the response that goes with their listening style. Now, as I have stated before, mismatched styles can cause miscommunication, and teams can adapt to communication to avoid tension. That is very true. Without knowing what style a person has, that could cause a very big misunderstanding and could very well cause your personal or professional setting to diminish.